Are we doing this?
We're doing this.
Hey guys, this is the frog, Brie.
This is the Dragonfly, Mandi.
So today we are in my garden out here in Scotia, California. And last night was the second new moon in Cancer for the Cancer season. And the past week has been like really emotionally intense for me and Mandi. I'm sure she could speak to that. And like overall, like the collective and a lot of like the customers that we've encountered this week and coworkers and friends. So the new moon last night was like a really good chance to kind of release a lot of that and learn some of the lessons that came with those really deep, intense feelings of stress and hurt and anger and confusion and fear. And so I brought you guys to my garden to kind of speak a little bit about that and what it looks like to maybe, have some intentions and like revisit those intentions, and then what it looks like when you start to fall out of alignment with your soul's purpose or your soul path, and ways that we can kind of circle back and come back to the action behind the intentions that you had. All's not lost, and everything goes through seasons, and sometimes, the season is up and things die, and, you got to cut out the stuff that's no longer growing in your garden and harvest the seeds that you can and plant some new seeds. So that's kind of what we're going to do here today, and I just wanted to share a little bit of that with you.
I mean, I couldn't say it better than Brie, as always. I think another thing we all need to think about, especially with what happened last week and how a lot of us are feeling, is, some of us are feeling like we're standing still, we're like not in any motion. Some of us, are feeling like we're going backwards right now instead of forward. And a thing that I really have been thinking about, and I got brought to my attention from one of our favorite podcasters, Stephanie Powers, was she was explaining like how a slingshot can't go forward without going backwards. And for me, that truly just like clicked. It was like that light bulb moment, like, oh my Lanta, yes, of course. Like, you can't, like, common physics and anything, like, we have to go backwards in order to push on and go forward. Sometimes, Brie even mentioned that you have to go down, like, you have to go down in order to go up, There's countless directions sometimes we have to face, but I think at the end of the day, what intentions and everything we put towards, oh my Lanta, was that it?
That's two dragonflies. Oh, so pardon the noise. It's definitely my pug, Rupert, who's being a jerk right now.
Well, and the background noise, but that's just normal. That's how it is, This is daily life. This is the daily get-go. So yeah, just remember, like, no matter like where you're at, what direction you're looking on right now, like, just, take it day by day, moment by moment, like, put intention, just take it how it is, and we can only improve, even if you go backwards, you're really not going backwards. You're just giving yourself that momentum to go forward, to like keep going. And, if that's you taking it day by day, then awesome. If that's you, pushing on, like packing in heat, then perfect, keep at it. But, we're all on different journeys. We're on different frequencies. We're on different, some of us can't put our all in right now. And I think that's okay. And that's totally normal,
Yeah, and just to piggyback off of the feelings of, going backwards in your life, and circling back to action, like linking action behind intention. Like, your intention might be that you want to move forward, but in order for you to move forward, right now your current action behind the intent of moving forward is to take a step back. And always remember that. It's always about the journey, not the destination. You'll get there eventually. The key to that is just remaining consistent in the actions behind your intentions, and then, utilizing dates on the calendar. For me, it's like new moons and full moons to kind of check in with my own personal goals, whether it's like monthly goals or yearly goals. And then that way you get those checkpoints to be able to see like how far you've come and how far you have to go, and then realign your goals and, baby steps. Like that's really the key, is the baby steps. You'll get there.
I think that's like perfect. Yeah. Sometimes we don't take giant leaps or strides. Sometimes it's like the littlest, step that can make a difference. Also remember though, you're not alone either. You have more people around you who you can lean on and that are willing to let you lean on them. Some things we do have to do alone, don't get me wrong. Like some journeys, no one can really truly help us except ourselves. And, that's fine and that's okay too. But also know that there are people around you who can help or who want to help. And if you really don't have anyone right now, you're going to find that person who you can lean on. You just have to be motivated, open-minded, and just keep focusing on you, because it's inevitable. It's going to happen. You're going to meet, someone, a friend, a colleague, someone on a walk. Like, it's going to happen.
Yes.
Like, there's no way for it not to happen. There's billions of us. Exactly.
Right.
See?
Yes. Amen.
Amen. There's billions of us on this planet. Like, it's impossible for you not to meet, someone. Like,
yes. Your vibe attracts your tribe.
Amen.
And that's so true.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you gotta be alone, and that's scary and it's hard, and a lot of times it's painful because you're forced to really turn inward. But once you have a true understanding of your darkest parts within yourself, you're able to turn outward and see like the full like color spectrum of the world, the darks and the lights and the full gradient, and everything in between. So
oh my gosh, sorry, there was another dragonfly. Oh, this one was blue. I love the blue
ever
one.
present in this garden. So I started this garden before the pandemic, actually, like if I'm super honest, but like
it couldn't have happened at a better time though.
So it started with seeds, and I was doing a a new moon intention setting back in February. The February new moon was the first set of seeds I planted, which is most of like my really small herb pots. And those just kind of like kicked it off. And I didn't really imagine that I was going to have like a full blown garden until we actually like ended up in this pandemic that we're in now of COVID-19. And so as soon as, we caught wind that we were going to go into quarantine and we were going to have to shelter in place, we went out like the very first day and got all the supplies we needed to build a garden, because I just knew that it was going to be really important to be able to grow my own food and be sustainable and limit contact with the outer world, because back in March, this was the middle of March, we just didn't know what life was going to look like now. And here we are at the end of July, and you can see that like the seeds have grown into a crazy wilderness. I've been back at work for about a month now, and it
feels longer though, to be honest.
Oh God, it feels like
it feels like I don't even know, guys. Ugh. Like, it feels longer than that, and I think all of us are feeling that right now.
Yeah. And you can see it in my garden, because it's crazy. Work's kind of pulled my focus away from my sole purpose, and it frustrated me, and I got real mad last week about it, because I wasn't able to focus all of my time out here like I used to when we were in quarantine for 3 months. And you can see like there's stuff that's died back. My lettuce is bolting. I've got weeds that I need to pull, so it's time for me to really like bring myself and my garden back into alignment. And we're having to slowly shut down the state again in the country, and so we don't know what that's going to look like. So I'm just going to continue with my planting cycle, maybe see if we can harvest some seeds, and kind of plan for like some fall planting. so that we have food to eat in the winter time. That's kind of where everybody's a little bit nervous, because we're going to go into cold and flu season, and COVID has such similar symptoms to just like the common cold or flu. So we really don't know what that's going to look like. So come along on our journey. We're going to pull some of my pea plants out because they're dying, and maybe harvest some green beans and pull some of my flowers out that are no longer with us, and trim some stuff back, and we'll kind of do like a before and after, and then we'll kind of talk about, like, circle back to like what we did and like intention setting, and we'll talk about how to harness the power of the new moon to realign yourself and set some like tangible and meaningful intentions and goals for yourself, and what actions you can take for the month. And then in 2 weeks we could check in at the full moon.
Ooh, I like this. Yeah. Let's do it. All right, guys.
We've got some seeds here. So even if you feel lost or helpless or out of control, or you're closing a chapter, or like you've lost it all, like you can always plant new seeds from that, because in death is birth. So that's what that means. Like, that's why I love gardening, and it really kind of teaches you, like, the end is just the beginning. All right. So
you feel a lot lighter, don't you?
Way lighter. The energy out here feels lighter, and you know, like, once you learn and accept that, like, you know, some things just have seasons, and, you know, once they've played their part and you've learned from it and you've nourished from it, and you know, it's time to let it go, and make way for some new things. And so as we were pulling stuff up that had long since died or was going to die because it was the end of its season, we found several little gems, little treasures. I was able to propagate a lot of my beets. So we separated those and trimmed them up and put them back in the ground and watered them in. And I took all my green onions because they were being overgrown by my tomatoes and they were going to die if I kept them there, which is kind of like a critical thing to do, you know. I pulled them out and clipped them all the way back and put them into a new location where they'll get full sun again. And you know, after a couple of months, they'll grow nice and big and tall, and we'll post pictures along the way for progress. You know, sometimes we have to take things all the way to the ground and, you know, and shift the energy and relocate some things in order for it to grow better. You know, it might have started out as like a good spot to grow, and, you know, as things develop in our lives, sometimes we just have to realign our position or realign our focus. And that's something that, like, working in the garden has really taught me. It's taught me so many things, patience being one of them, especially, you know, being at home alone for 3 months with no one to talk to but my animal family and the creatures in my yard and my plants and my seeds. And I would just study and spend hours out here talking to my plants from the wee hours of the morning till the sun would go down. And it was just, I don't know, like a spiritual experience, but it taught me a lot of patience and a lot of importance behind the intention. And last night I got to eat some squash for dinner that I had grown from seed, and it was the new moon, and I had planted them on the March new moon, and there I was, and it's the July new moon, and I was sitting there eating them, and I had placed intentions, like, you know, into them as I was planting them into the soil and germinating them and watching them grow and focusing energy and love towards them. And last night I got to ingest those intentions to nourish my body and my mind and my soul to create new intentions like this today. Mm-hmm. This was like one of the intentions, and it's the inception of intentions. And it was so profound and so powerful to realize how much power, like, yes, how much power power like you can put into something so tiny, like a tiny dog.
Dude, I think it just, like, not only just intention, it can give you, like, so much, like, insight and hope. I know I learned a lot today. It may not look like I did anything, but when I wasn't filming, like, I learned, and I feel like I have a new perspective, too, whenever I can or if I can grow, you know. I want to make sure I put, like, those intentions and thoughts and time into everything, you know, because it is worth it, you know, at the end of the day. Like, you'll see the full circle, you know, regardless of what happens.
Yeah. So every action you do, like, whether you consciously do it or not, like, has an intent behind it, and it has, like, an action that's linked to it. You know, you get a result based whether you do something or you don't do something. And that's very, very powerful. So when you consciously put effort into thoughts and into actions, to put your thoughts into actions, and you consciously do that, it becomes extremely powerful, and you can really take your power back. Like, it's not always, you know, you're just, life's gonna float by, or you have to follow some checklist. Like, make your own checklist. That's what I do, you know?
Or maybe take a day where you don't follow your checklist and see where it takes you. I know we've had many adventures and things where we don't take the easy path. But honestly, those are the paths I remember the most. When I think about it, though, I don't remember those, like...
The easy paths.
Yeah.
You remember the scary paths.
Oh, yeah.
The ones that, like, taught you something
shook
important.
you know, because you kind of need to sometimes shake it up, redirect, you know. And, you know, if you can't redirect right now, that's okay. Like, just, you know, being mindful about it, you know, being mindful that, you know, I will need to redirect soon. Like, if I cannot right now, soon, you know.
Maybe your action behind your intention is, I need to be still right now so that I can be in motion later when I can see my path.
Definitely. If you have to stand still right now, it's okay. And don't let others, you know, give you that pressure, or don't let outside forces, you know, necessarily give you that, like, pressure. Like,
yeah, you're just a seed that's been planted.
You have time. Yeah. It's only a matter of time and when. It's not a matter of if. It's about time and when. You're going to see it. It'll come, you know.
Definitely.
Yeah. So let's all have a good new moon. You know, if you have to journal or write it down, what your new intentions, you know, you want to create until the next new moon. And then you can reflect on it, you know.
I do it moon to moon. Like, the new moon, I sit down and, you know, you're planting your intentions, and you're using the building energy of the new moon to put energy as the moon grows bigger into those intention seeds that you have planted. And that's, like, the power behind working with the moon. You know, and then when it's the full moon, you stop and reflect and see how far you've come, and you can do quarter moons and you can do half moon check-ins too, just to, like, look and see and realign on, like, a weekly or daily basis. You know, and that's how I'm able to achieve all of my major life goals, is really, like, at the beginning of each year, I ask myself, you know, what are my 3 main goals this year? And then, you know, I ask myself, once I identify those, like, how can I achieve them? And then I build them into, like, a month-to-month thing, and then I build it into, like, new moon to full moon, and then I build it into a like, week-to-week thing sometimes, like, if it's something, you know, that needs, like, a quick deadline, or if I know it's going to take a long time. And it's always important to, like, pause on those moons to reflect, because you'll get lost in the sauce, as Stephanie Powers says, like, and it's real easy. You know, I went 6 months without, like, really, like, journaling any of my intentions, because I just needed the space, number one. It was very overwhelming going into this pandemic and having the unknown. And so part of me kind of wishes I would have journaled about it, but, like, I think my energy was just way more focused on like the task at hand, which was like the intention behind the growing of the food. But looking back at like what I had written down like on Halloween and even like for New Year's, like for a New Year's like intentions coming into 2020, looking back last night when I finally sat down, I saw how much in alignment I have been with those intentions, even though I wasn't like fully present and writing it down. And that made me smile, because it made me realize that I've kind of stepped into this place where I have that self-confidence, where I feel like I truly know who I am now and what my values are and what my boundaries are. And it wasn't always the case, but that's like a whole other podcast.
Amen. See, and for me right now, I'm in the point where I need to write it down, because that's just my process I'm going through. But because I was doing that in one area, I put a lot of the things I was doing on pause, and to put energy into other places. So that happens, like you put pause or you stop in one area because you just kind of know inward. Like, I just knew that I needed a pause on, on my other like YouTube channel just for right now. It's just for now. So I could try to put more energy into myself, because I knew I couldn't do it both. Not that I'm not strong enough to not do it, do them both, but because I just knew that I want to put more energy inward right now, like through everything. And for that, I need to right now be able to hold myself accountable to look at it and to like read it if I need to, or don't read it if I need to. I journal every morning. I now have a full morning routine that I'm so happy about. I literally love telling everyone, oh my gosh, guess what? I make my bed. What? Never in my life did I think I would be one of those people who make their bed in the morning. And then I also journal every morning. Who am I? I wake up before like 10 o'clock. Who am I? Everyone knows I am a night owl. I stay up until like 2 or 3 a.m., and then I sleep until the last minute, get as much sleep as I can. But now, no, I do not do that. Like, I've definitely changed, but like for the better, definitely,
But it's action behind your intention that drives your life forward, that raises your vibration. And we're all here for each other.
Oh,
so
yeah.
If
Definitely.
you need help with that, like, reach out to us and
let us know on our Instagram, Twitter, here on the comments on the YouTube. Like, the podcast isn't up yet, but it will be.
Shortly.
It's coming.
Our microphones are like 2 days away?
2 days away.
2 days away.
Unless another curveball happens, which we don't know, because it tried to throw us a curve the first time, and we were like, yeah, okay, sure, but we're going to still keep going.
Yeah. And so then, just so you guys know, we're literally doing this on a phone. On an iPhone?
Yeah, my iPhone, and then we'll see what the Canon takes. So this video might be either a 2-parter if it's too long, or a really long intro, but who even knows? Well, I'll figure it out, because there's just too many good snippets. I can't cut these out.
It's beginnings. It's new beginnings. So
new beginnings.
New stuff for us. Definitely a new field for me. But this is the time and the platform and the place.
It's been much needed. We've gotten all the signs. That is for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Trust. What does Stephanie say? Leap and the net will follow. I don't know if I necessarily believe in that yet, but I do definitely believe in trust, and the universe will show you something, or give you the nudge.
I've got some crazy net stories, so we could talk about that.
There's
in the
just
future as well.
Too many things to talk about, guys. Too many
things to share with you guys.
So much. I'm very excited, and I'm excited for our community, for us to share. Just remember, you're never in this alone.
Never in this alone.
Never. And if you really can't, see anyone around you, know that we're here for you.
Yeah. No matter where in the world you are.
Hopefully this comes to you when you need it. Hopefully, whether it's like when it's actually posted. Whether you hear this when we first post it, whether you hear it a week later, a month later, a year later, 2 years, I think it'll still be there for you, you know.
Yeah.
It'll be what you need to hear because we're all in this together. Like, minus the High School Musical song I really want.
I'm like,
you're like, I don't know.
Minus COVID-19 also.
Yeah, please
That's
keep your
been
distance.
like a big slogan.
Yeah, so
we're all in this together, but it's
let's
true.
emotionally and consciously be in all this together, you know. And please wear your masks. Please don't be the person where you wear the mask underneath the nose. That's a whole other podcast, though. Don't worry, we will talk about. But let's stay in this together. Yeah, let's protect one another. Let's talk. Let's conversate.
Yes.
Let's have those conversations.
Yeah.
All right, guys. This is the Dragonfly, Mandi.
And this is the Frog, Brie. Thanks for hanging out with us today and learning a little bit more about your life and how you can manifest a new reality.
New beginnings.
New beginnings, guys. Start planting those seeds. We can't wait to hear from you.
You got this.
This is what it is, okay? I said empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow, or it can crash. Be water, my friend.